Hello, 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 hello. My hello is like four times this morning. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everywhere, anywhere you are in the world. Welcome to Business Analysis Simplified. My name is Ola Ofime and I am your co-host. Very soon, I'm going to be pulling in my business partner. So when you see me going through my screen like this, that's me trying to pull her in. I hope you all had a fantastic week. Mine was a little challenging. Okay, I am bringing my business partner in. Okay. Hopefully she's able to join. So, I was saying that I had a pretty challenging week. However, we're here. Hello. Hello, hello, studio.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing I'm doing good. I was asking
Mhm.
our audience, can you see me good?
Oh yeah, I can, but it almost looks like okay, but you know how those things are. It almost feels like you're like the headroom is so
So
you,
so
no. Like you're feeling the frame. That's fine, actually, I think. Yeah, it's okay.
yeah, sure. I'm
Yeah.
actually at another height, like a higher height to fill up the space as best as possible, but
Mm.
you know. Okay.
Yeah, like some part of your hair is cut off. That's what I mean.
Oh, cut off. So I mean I need to go down a little then. How about
hmm
now? Okay.
Look at that. Look
Is,
at that.
is it
Perfect.
better? Okay,
Yeah,
awesome.
let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Okay.
Let's go. Let's go. I'm so
So
excited.
I was just pulling you in and I was telling our audience that I hope they all had a fantastic week
hmm
because mine was a little challenging. How was your week? You tell us. Did you have a good week?
Actually, it started almost on a challenging note, but again, challenges are part of life, Ola. This is what we live and breathe, right?
Fine.
The most important
Mhm.
thing is we need to look at the silver lining, every single time. And one good thing is Calgary Stampede has started. So,
Oh,
whee!
that's amazing. I heard that it's actually a stampede. Like there's lots of people.
Ola,
l-
this is the greatest outdoor event in the entire world. That's what we call it. So, that's
Oh,
got to give you
really?
some
Okay.
perspective. Yeah. So, there you go.
Okay. So good that you have something to go back to at least for this weekend.
hmm
To you enjoy. So hopefully you enjoy the rest of your weekend, and hopefully you,
Yeah.
our audience, too, have a
Ab-
similar experiences. Okay.
Absolutely.
So welcome again to Business Analysis Simplified, where we take a business analysis technique, topic, or concept, and then we try to draw parallels
hmm
in I mean with our everyday lives, and we see how we could apply either the principles of those concepts that we've discussed to everyday living, right?
Yeah.
So today what we have this to discuss is business case. You
Yeah.
know, when I hear business case, my mind first goes to briefcase. Business case is not briefcase. You know, those briefcases that, well, my dad had lots of them while we were growing up.
Oh my
Where
God.
he puts all his files in his briefcase and then he carries it. So when the very first time I heard that technique, business case, what came to my mind was just that picture of briefcase.
Oh my
So
God.
it's
Oh,
not.
that you're so funny. I can just help. I'm like you're cracking me up. Yeah,
Yeah.
briefcases. I know I had one of those back in the day when in engineering, we're gonna go for, what we call IT now or
Right.
internship. Then it was CWES.
Mm.
And I was thinking, what was the best thing to go to school with? And guess what? Yours truly bought. I bought a briefcase. Now I think about it, it just doesn't make sense. Like you don't even take this
Well,
thing
it made
anywhere.
sense then. It made sense. It made sense then because maybe that was the in thing. Okay, so just like we have laptop bags now, and you don't even have files anymore. Oh my God, we don't have files anymore. We only have all our documents on shared drive or on USB, right? So that's the
Oh
world is
my
evolving
God.
for sure.
Oh my
Mhm.
God. Ola, that thing was so expensive and I didn't get to carry it for even up to a week because it was literally useless.
Anyway,
All I had was my handouts and everything. So who's gonna carry a briefcase? Engineering student for that
right.
matter. Oh my God. Oh, fun
Yeah.
times.
Awesome. Yes. So back to business case, what it
Mm-hmm.
is and what is not.
Yeah.
Let's go to what it is. So I'll start and then
Yeah.
you inject and help me clarify things as best as possible. So generally speaking, organizations have limited resources. And so when we're talking about resources, we're talking about time, they have limited time, they have limited money, they have limited personnel,
Yeah.
limited employees, right? And so in order to be able to adequately or effectively allocate those resources, right,
Yeah.
they usually will use this technique called business case. So generally speaking, a business case is a document. It's just a document, but it's got all kinds of things in it, and
Mm-hmm.
then it's used to serve. I mean, it's used to justify the reason or the rationale behind taking up an initiative or a project. So you know that in every organization you would have the top management, you would have the middle management, and then you have the
Absolutely.
other
Lower
people.
management. I like to call it lower management.
The employees generally, right? And then what happens is top management would gather together. They would come
Mm-hmm.
up with strategies. Oh my God! They usually would lock themselves up in some. Maybe they go for they go to resort or they go
Yeah,
somewhere.
they go for
They
a
they
retreat.
just look for ways to spend the organization's money, right? They
Or
go away.
no, they go brainstorming. Remember, we spoke about this last week. They go to just bake and cook, come up with ideas
Yeah,
that
they
can
could
move
do
the
it
company
behind
forward.
right. So they do that either behind the doors in the conference room within the organization, or they go away totally to some resort to have time and clear their hair, right? So eventually they come up with strategies.
Yeah.
And then it's now on the middle management to find ways to accomplish those strategies. And so what middle management will do is to think of projects
Mm.
or initiatives that they could implement to then support the strategy. But out of those projects and initiatives too, they still have to be vetted because again, there's still limited time, there's still
Yeah.
limited money,
Funds. Yeah.
funds, yes, and there's limited employees to implement those
Yeah.
projects.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's bottom line
Mm.
the idea of business case.
Business
We could delve
cases. Okay.
into yeah.
So
Mhm.
essentially, what we're saying is the upper management comes up with the overall strategy where the company is headed.
Right.
And then the middle management comes up with how do we get there, or what are the initiatives we can, get ourselves involved in or delve into to be able to achieve this organizational strategies, right?
Right.
And
Absolutely.
again, like you said, it doesn't make sense that they just sit around and say, oh, yeah, we need to go kilometer 5, so we're just going to do X, Y, Z. You need to be able to convince upper management how and why you think
Mm,
XYZ is better to get us to kilometer 5 as opposed to ABC or PQX or something, right?
right.
So,
Absolutely.
but sometimes they have more than one case, one project that they think would actually lead us to the promised land. So, how
Right.
exactly do we know which one should we go for? How is the upper management going to be able to say, okay, we're going to vet this one? No, we're not going this route. I guess all of that happens in the business case. It's based on the business case.
Absolutely. So, many a times, most of the business cases get thrown out. Maybe because they haven't done their due diligence,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they're not able to provide enough justification.
Yeah.
That word justification or rationale is important. Why do we really need to choose project A over project B? So
Yeah.
it's one, I think it's in your doing your due diligence.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where a business analyst comes in to help you do all the research, to help you do all the analysis work, to help you do all the estimation, right? And then to project. So you're not just doing analysis estimation in the present, you're again projecting into the
Into
future
the
to say,
future.
okay,
Absolutely.
if indeed we invest in it, what is the return on investment? On how quick and how quickly can those returns be actually realized? So it's in the due diligence, right? So another thing is you might do your due diligence, but you're then not able to to adequately present that business case,
So it
right?
can be in
To
your mind.
yeah,
It
right.
can be in your books. Like it has to be presentable and understandable by a third party.
Absolutely, 100%, 100%. So your ability to be able to gather information together, put it in a document, and able to even support that documentation with articulation and enough. How do you put this now? Enough finesse and enough. Oh shoot, that word is failing me right now.
Okay.
Enough
You must be
conviction,
convincing. Yeah.
conviction,
Yeah.
right? For someone else to buy into that idea and
Yeah,
fund it
absolutely.
is important, right? It's important.
Absolutely. So in essence, business cases is about getting somebody else to buy into what you know to be right or what you perceive to be the right course of action. Period.
100%. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, the organizations definitely need to live and breathe this. This is what they have to do. You can't just go ahead and make a decision and say, yeah, I think this is okay, and then go do it. The same thing with our everyday lives. Now, trying to tie it back to everyday living, right? We make decisions on a daily basis. Like the decision to come on Facebook Live, for instance, and hang out with my BFF Ola every Saturday morning or afternoon, depending on where you are in the world, right? It's a decision that was made at some point. But before we made that decision, we have to sit and analyze. Okay, what exactly are we trying to achieve here? What is the goal? And will this actually achieve that goal? Does it make sense even? Is it a good investment of our time and our resources? Those are the things that need to come together. Say for instance, like I'm already giggling because back in the day, you want to make for parents and kids, you want to make a career decision. Your parents, for the most time, they already decided in their mind. Once I have 3 kids, one is going to be a doctor, a lawyer, a pharmacist. Forget the engineer. Number 4. If I have a fourth one, it's going to be, I'm an engineer, so I know. But sometimes we come like number 4 on the list. So your parents already have an idea of what you're going to do. Or maybe it's a parent that's already engineering inclined. They might say, okay, yeah, you're going to be an engineer. You're going to be a chemical engineer. You're going to be a civil engineer. The third one is going to be an electrical engineer. It's going to be a family of engineers. Or they are doctors. They want all their kids to be doctors. Or they are lawyers. They want all their kids to be lawyers. They want baristas in this house, right? So
Right.
nobody is asking the poor child, what do you want to be?
Right. Well, I think the reason why they don't ask, well, maybe because, again, it's a cultural thing, right? In some part of the world, it's a little different because you would already have seen, you would have identified a few things, right, in that child, and then you'll be able to guide them in the right direction. In other culture, in other environments, it's not so. You just impose and you expect them to carry your imposition, what you have imposed on them, carry it, run with it, and then hopefully survive in life, right? So that child is not able to use the principles of business case as it were, but some have been able to figure things out. I think as technology is evolving and advancing, kids are beginning to find out their path all by themselves, even at very early age.
And then even the parents help. Like in my own case, my kids will take personality traits test. We've taken tests that can give you a sort of indication of what is this child likely to want to do or thrive at or excel at as they grow older. It doesn't mean it's going to be sacrosanct. It's not set in stone, but it's an indication. Anyway, we digress. Back to business cases. Again, I like to use my example because, the more I think about it, the more it just cracks me up. Like growing up, my dad, God bless his soul, he's always wanted me to be a medical doctor. I think he just had this fascination. Again, I think, like you said, it's a cultural thing. And their generation, they just wanted a doctor in the house. They wanted the lawyer. They wanted the engineer. They wanted the pharmacist. Any other thing could wait. So he's always saying, oh, Kemi, you're going to be a doctor. You're going to be a doctor. And I bought into it because that's what we did back in the day, right? You didn't dare question until one day, Ola, are you ready for this?
Yeah, shoot.
Someone really close to the family was involved in an accident. And then, they just gotten out of everything and went to the hospital to go check on them. The wound was very fresh. Oh my God, Ola, I puked. Like I literally vomited. because I couldn't stand the smell of blood.
Here you are, you're supposed to be Dr. Kemi at some point.
There you go. There you go. But
Wow.
I'd never been that close to, apart from, you have a cut, paper cut, nothing major as far as blood was concerned. So
Right.
I didn't even know. I puked. It was so bad. Like I was really actually like gasping for breath.
Oh my God.
And everybody was like, what's going on? And then I realized that I couldn't stand the smell of blood. And so I started checking, and it was a thing. So what did I do? I couldn't just, like right now, maybe this generation, your kids could be like, Dad, no way, I ain't doing that. But back in the day, you dare not. So I had to sit down and think, oh my God, even though my dad knows I was going through all this trouble of, puking every time I came in contact with blood, but I had to think about how am I going to present this case to him. And thankfully, thankfully I had not gotten to the higher institution yet. So there was still opportunity to, course adjust or course correct. So I thought, but again, my dad was very approachable, very loving. He would listen, but you had to come with serious reasons, strong reasons. So I thought. So I said to myself that, okay, how about I go to this man and explain my predicament, even though he knew, but I still had to explain and convince him. So I gathered my wits. I went to him and I said, Dad, you know what, this doctor thing, I really would love to be a medical doctor. I really would love to make your dream come true, right? But one thing I've realized, and too, I puke every time I smell blood. What kind of a doctor would that be? That every time your patient comes in, and then I was thinking of being a surgeon. Can you even imagine?
Oh dear. Okay.
So, put in my reasoning, my strong words, try to be as convincing as possible. And the man, God rest his soul, looked at me and, just patted me on the shoulder. I said, yeah, I've been thinking about it, but I just thought probably you would grow out of it. I'm like, that I don't think that's going to happen. And now the more I even see blood, the more I freak out.
Yeah.
And there you go.
Isn't that amazing though? Because you know what it would take in terms of money investment and time investment to actually go through that entire phase of housemanship. Well, first studying to first be a qualified doctor, going for housemanship, then going to then become to specialize in one area of medicine. That time investment, you saved yourself, your parents,
the money, the time, everything.
Future. Yeah, all of those investment, because you had to pause. You had to pause to actually do some form of analysis, some form of come up with some form of justification, rationale, why
we need to change course,
and why it won't even make sense to continue. And here you are, still successful, doing something else that you absolutely love, right?
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah,
so it's
that's
all
the
about
power of business.
Yeah, it's all about doing your research, doing your due diligence, counting the cost, right? So again, this is coming to me. If you want to make purchase, a huge purchase, a remarkable, a large purchase, right? And you're struggling between one decision or the other. The one that's coming to my mind right now, I think we talked about it over during the week, was either buying an inverter versus buying a power generator, because that will resonate with the part of the world that we came from, right? So you want to do your due diligence. You want to research. You want to do an estimation. Okay, is it what does this mean when it comes to maintenance cost for an inverter, for
running
a power generator? Running costs, right?
Getting
even
gas every
cost
time.
Of ownership. Yes, right? The noise pollution that one gives and one the other.
Oh my God.
Right? Yeah. So
don't
you
even
want
remind
to do
me.
all of this. Yeah. In fact, yeah. You help us break it down. Other things that you need to actually be looking for when it comes to doing your due diligence.
Yeah.
Then to actually eventually come to a decision. What other things should we be looking for? And who exactly are we presenting that case to? Who are we making the case to?
All I remember that life is never lived in silos.
Mm.
You're never living by yourself on an island. It's either you're a member of a family or you're a member of a family. It's as simple as that. If
Right.
you're a member of a family, you're a member of a family. Whatever that looks like, it really doesn't matter. You're a part of something bigger than you. So when you make decisions, there are other people you want to consider. If you're married, you've got a spouse. If you're a child that lives with your parents still, and you're in the working class, this ain't going to talk to your parents about the decisions you're going to be making, right? Purchasing decisions. If we're talking about this issue of, well, should I go for an inverter versus a generating set, there's so many things to think about. You could say, oh my dear, and then you're thinking, okay, if we buy a power generating set, it's going to be, let's say, 250,000 naira, or whatever that equivalent is in dollars. But if we do an inverter, it's going to be 450,000 naira as opposed to 250. And any normal rational thinking human being will think, oh my God, why should I pay 450 when I can buy the same power generating equivalent for 250? But the cost for power generating set is beyond 250. You're going to fill it. You're going to get gas every single time, right? The noise
Right.
pollution, like you already mentioned, every time you put this thing on, there's this. Even if you do buy the silent one, then it's not going to be 250 anymore. Maybe 1 million naira. Who knows, right? So all of those things you need to put in consideration and think through them and say, okay. And then the fact that if it's not remote control, that means every night, if you sleep at 1 a.m., you have to physically get out to go put this thing off. Is that safe to do? So many things you need to be able to convince people around you or a spouse that, okay, so I think even for your own safety, I don't want you going out, in the middle of the night to go put off this thing. Let's just get an inverter. It is in the house. It's one switch, to put it on, to put it off. And plus, we can streamline it.
Absolutely. And so though the initial cost of an inverter would seem enormous, but the overall cost, the total cost of ownership compared to the initial cost of a generator that is really low, but the total cost of ownership over time becomes really, really like it's like a progressive elaboration, right? Right. So you do that side by side comparison, and then you and your spouse, if you're trying to make a decision, you and your spouse will weigh
the pros and the cons.
And the cons, and eventually you have your justification, your rationale for going with one over the other. I'm not going to even sway you here and there because we don't know if someone is actually in the process of making a purchase.
You know what, Ola, I know we're really almost running out of time, but there was something that just occurred to me. If you're there, particularly I'm talking to the guys now. So guys, listen up. You're trying to date this girl or you want to get married to this girl and she's saying no, no, no. You need to get your business case on point. You need to get your
business case on point. I totally agree. I totally agree. Because you got to tell the girl, future face yourself. Because I borrowed that word from you. Future face yourself and help her see the potentials in you. If you have to put it on paper to read it to her, you do it, right?
Do what you gotta do.
Sit her down to say, you know what? I may not have nothing right now, but the me 10 years from now is this and this and this and this are what I see, and this and this and this and this are why you should go with me and eventually get married to me, right?
So maybe you want to come to a business analysis class, guys. If you are having trouble getting a girl, we don't have girls for sale in class. Just to disclaimer right here, we don't have any girls for you to.
We may not have them for sale, but you could meet them in class.
Okay, Ola, this is getting out of hand. But the bottom line is, guys, if you're having trouble convincing, presenting your case, convincing people, making decisions, understanding the concept of business case is going to be super duper helpful for you. And by the way, we always say this, we have a class coming up July 22nd, I think, Mastering Business Analysis. Is happening July 22nd. You want to come to class, guys? You want to be a part of this? And just so you know, attending this class gives you the PDUs you require for your registration with IIBA. IIBA being what again, Ola? You tell us.
It is the International Institute of Business Analysis. It's the governing body of our profession. Yeah. Right? And so if you attend our course, you get your professional development units. to
Yeah.
actually apply for those
Or
certifications. So
to keep it going, because
to keep
sometimes,
it
I mean,
going.
not sometimes, every time you do need to renew and all of that. So those are the value add, those are the things we bring to the table, guys. I know that we laugh a lot, we giggle here on this show. That's the intention. If you want it serious, you go hang out with Ola every Wednesdays when we put out the actual concept. She's there all serious and looking very professional. But on this show, we laugh, we have fun, we just make it's simplified. That's what it is, right?
Right. Business analysis simplified. So we encourage you to apply the principles of business, the business case technique, to your individual life. To become more thoughtful, become more analytic in your decision making, so that you can optimize the resources that you have, the money you have, the time you have, and the people that are around you, right?
Absolutely.
Optimize those resources. Okay. Awesome. Do you have a last word? Because I'm going to round up.
Yeah, I think we should be running. Class starts in, very, very soon. So we need to go set up for that.
Yeah. So join us. Thank you for joining us today in our episode of Business Analysis Simplified. We encourage you to join us for our next episode next week. Every Saturday we're here. Join us in our next episode, where we like to say that intelligence meets creativity, because we combine professional with fun, right? And then human reigns supreme.
Absolutely.
Until then, we want to encourage you to remember to embrace the magic of intentional living. We'll see you next week.
Guys, bye.
Bye.